This is a Willets Point Shea Stadium bound 7 express train. The next and last stop is Willets Point, Shea Stadium.
There were other names that were released over the last couple of days. New candidates have emerged. Joel Sherman of the New York Post reporting that Carlos Mendoza and Andy Green have been interviewed already. Carlos Mendoza, we go through these guys a little bit, coach in the Yankees organization since 2009. Yankees bench coach for the last 4 years from 2020 to 23. Andy Martino of SNY, and we're going to keep referencing back to him a couple times, whether you like him or not. He does come out with this information. It's kind of really the only information we've been given. He said he's went through a couple of interviews already, and they've went really well. So he thinks he's a serious candidate, which we're going to get to towards the end, because another kind of big news that he mentioned came out not too long ago either. Andy Green, he's the current Chicago Cubs bench coach, managed the Padres from 2016 to 2019 to a 274 and 366 record, 428 winning percentage. Didn't finish higher than fourth, which is, I don't know, that's troubling to me. But it was during a time when the Padres were not really spending and doing much. He played 4 games for the Mets in 2009, so he's an alumni. Maybe we'll see him at Old Timers Day at some point. And then Andy Martino, like you said, mentioned Mark Kotsay, who also got an in-person interview. He managed the very embarrassing Oakland A's the last 2 seasons to a 110-214 record, 340 winning percentage. He hasn't won over 60 games, but who would win more than that with the team he's been given? If the Mets don't get Counsell, because we have to put that, like, everyone wants Counsell. It's been ingrained in our head. Counsell's inevitable. Counsell's coming. If it's not Counsell, it's going to be a bust. If Counsell is not the guy, which of these names intrigue you the most?
I mean, I knew you were going to ask that question, and I knew I was going to have to try to figure out a way to answer it. But I would say I would put it like this, mainly because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know that much about a lot of those candidates, because I don't think many people do when it comes to Mendoza or Green, or we've seen Kotsay and things like that. But I would guess if you're putting me against the wall, I would probably say Mendoza. But really, when it comes down to it, for me, and this goes hand in hand with Counsell as well. I've always felt that when it comes to a manager, it's, especially in New York, it's about handling personalities, handling the spotlight, being able to handle yourself pre and post game, because the game is nonstop here, because baseball is 24/7, 365. You're always talking about it one way or another. If the manager that you give me knows how to handle himself when it comes to what he does, what happened, why decisions were made, I have no issue with it, because when it comes down to it, it's really about the players on the field, which is why the pressure is really on Stearns to get the players to make a proper, a mixing and a melding of a team that can put us back into October with an opportunity to win. That's really what it comes down to. If something were to happen within a game where a manager makes a bad call, yes, kill the guy, yes, complain about the guy, whatever it may be. But for the most part, I really think it just comes down to getting the proper players and getting them on the field. Outside of that, like, give me whoever in the dugout, as long as I have the right players and the right person that can, like I said, manage said personalities and guide them in the right direction. That's the way I would answer that question. Somewhat answer it, somewhat not answer it. But if you're asking me to choose between the names that are there, I'd probably say Mendoza, but I'm saying that with, not the most confidence, because like I said, I don't know much about the candidates that we know about to this point.
And your answer is not wrong, because that's the way I felt right at the last episode of the podcast. I didn't know who I wanted to be manager, because for so long, we had the Mickey Callaways of the world and Luis Rojas, the young, new upstart managers, and it didn't work out. And then I wanted the veteran Buck Showalter, Dusty Baker, Bruce Bochy type of manager. And then that didn't work out. So now I'm at a phase where, like, I really can't pick, because we don't know if it's going to work or not. It all depends on, like you said, the players as well, melding together.